All right, guys, welcome back to EXP Share, where I share my experience of blah, blah, blah. No one gives a fuck. All right, episode 3. Another car video with terrible lighting, because why the fuck not? Even though I had perfect opportunity to do this in CVS, could have done this earlier in the day when there was still light outside, but no. You know why? Because I actually had to do shit, and then now that I'm done doing shit, or at least partially done doing shit, I'm doing this episode in transition, because it's more important to actually do the thing than to keep telling people about the thing you're doing. Don't ever forget that. Anyways, I just finished running 5 miles, and I know it doesn't look like it because I'm not sweating anymore, but when I tell you that shit, man, runners know, man. I did a 9.4 pace. I mean, 9.4. a 9 minute, 44 second pace. Did 4.93 miles. Felt really, really good. What was cool about it was that I called my friend in the beginning of the run. For the first like 15-20 minutes we were talking, and he was just kind of going through it just because he's a fellow artist, and you know, we'd be going through shit just trying to make, you know, art. And it was really cool because for the first time I got to really use and like explain and present some of the frameworks that I have been learning and using on myself lately for just getting through shit. So I told him about the talk to your 80-year-old self, like self-therapy. I told him about the veteran framework. I told him about, you know, a whole bunch of stuff, excuse me, that I use myself. And obviously, you know, I was running at the same time I was trying to like have this conversation, so it was tough to really, you know, feel like I was being the best listener, because I don't really care for listening to people's problems, to be honest. Like, I'm not the shoulder to cry on type shit. Like, I'll do it because I fucking love you and you're my homie, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Like, you know how girls are just like, oh my god, I love when you just like tell me about your problem, like tell me everything. Like, no, don't tell me everything. I don't fucking care. I don't want to know. But if I can help, I love being able to help. So I don't know if what I said helped him or not, but it felt good just because, I don't know, I'm noticing that as I'm becoming more obsessed with this shit, it's becoming so much easier and so much more natural to just like speak authentically to the stuff. So for example, earlier today, I was working, I had a 9-hour shift, which, by the way, I'm just saying, running 5 miles after being on your feet for 8 hours, after also working out in the morning, like, I feel like I'm not doing a good job of showing y'all just how hard the 75 hard shit really is. Like, for example, I left my water bottle at home today by accident, or I lost it. I don't know. I don't really care. So I had to use like one of the work cups. And so what I did was I basically filled up the cup all the way to the top every time I needed to drink water. And I would just calculate, like I had a notes app in my phone, like every time I drank a whole cup. So now when I go home, I'm going to fill up water bottle that I use, and I'm going to just like pour that amount out into like 6 cups. So I know exactly how much water I have left to drink a gallon. This isn't my first rodeo. I've done this a couple times now, but it's just funny how like 75 hard really teaches you how to adjust no matter what the circumstances are. Like, oh, if you fucked up in this area, okay, boom, now let me go in this area. Okay, if you fuck up here, whatever. So recently, like I said, I've been reading this Russell Brunson book, and every day I'm taking notes on it. Like, you gotta understand, guys, you can read the book really fast if you want to, but it's not impressive to tell people, oh yeah, I read that book in like 2 days. If you read the whole book in 2 days, you did not learn anything. There is no way you can tell me what happened in chapter 4. You can't. It's impossible. So I'm really happy because what 75 Hard does, it tells you just read 10 pages. And it's kind of difficult because there's a lot of graphs in this book, so I don't feel comfortable just reading like 10 number pages. Like, I like feeling like I read 10 pages of content, so I'll usually end up actually going through about 15-20 pages. But I'm taking notes on everything, I'm highlighting everything, I'm rephrasing things in my own words. And I was actually able to like talk to a friend at work, or a friend, coworker, about some of the stuff that he was talking about with sales, when he was talking about how the only real decision that people make sales based on, like if they buy something or not, is whether it increases or decreases their status. And even now, as I'm speaking to this, I'm thinking about blue oceans and red oceans and like all this different terminology that usually when I try to like learn stuff in these fields, I'll read the book and I'll think I learned everything, and then a week later I won't actually have learned shit. So this is one of the few times where I'm actually doing active reading, and I feel like I'm actually absorbing the knowledge. And even like with the Alex Hormozy frameworks and with the Andy Frisella frameworks, really Alex Hormozy is teaching me a lot with the frameworks, and then Russell Brunson's teaching me the practical stuff. And it's like I get to actually apply it in daily life and tell people about it. And people talk about it all the time, right? If you're able to teach it to someone else, that means you actually learned it. That means they're actually using it. So it's just nice because it feels natural now. Like, I don't think you guys understand how difficult it is to go from being a loser, fucking all I care about is watching anime and playing video games all day and doing absolutely nothing and smoking weed, and I just want to be a fucking hippie and I don't want to work, I just want to be happy. Like, that was my life, okay? That's who I am. That's how most of you guys probably are. If someone asks you who you want to be or what you want to be when you grow up, you just want to be happy. Like, that's what I used to tell people. And I feel you. I empathize so much with that sentiment. But you will not be happy by seeking happiness. And at this point, if you haven't figured that out, then let me let you know that, because it is so true. And a lot of you guys have figured this out as you get older into your adulthood. But for the ones who haven't, I'm telling you, the sooner you figure this shit out, the faster you can actually become happy, because you're actually going to look towards fulfillment instead of actually just looking for happiness. And one of the best ways to fulfill is to take on responsibility and accomplish it and do difficult things, and, you know, grow into your higher self. And what's the word I'm looking for? Act on your potential. You know what I'm saying? Understand that you have the ability to do great things, and listen to your ambition and listen to those voices in your head that are pushing you to do great things, and actually attempt to do that shit. So I don't know. It's crazy because, like I said in episode 0, this is the worst my life has ever been from a circumstance standpoint, and this is that quote unquote happiest I've ever been, because I'm actually controlling what I can control. I'm putting my best foot forward, and I'm becoming the person I want to become. Like, I am, like, I don't know. I feel like when you don't have context like this, a lot of people think that those guys who are like in the interviews and all they talk about is this, that, and the third. It's like, do you think he really talks about that stuff when he goes home, or it's just like an act? Like, you know, in Pirates of the Caribbean, when they asked, they're like, you think Jack Sparrow, like, you think he has it all planned, or he's just make it up along the way? The thing is, it's just like, if you're authentically that person, if you really are obsessed with this shit the way I'm obsessed with this shit now, and I'm like I'm actively doing this stuff every day, day in, day out, this is what I think about, you will become that person naturally. And it's gonna feel weird at first because you have cognitive dissonance, because most of your life you haven't been this person. But now, for the past 6 years, I can confidently say that I have done probably more thinking about how to become successful than anything else. I haven't thought about how to get girls. I haven't thought about how to become good at Smash Bros. I haven't thought about, or I should say, I have thought about all this other stuff, but I think about how to become successful way more. You feel me? I've thought about, okay, how do I get weed, or how do I get money, or how do I get this girl to like me, or how do I play this video game, or how do I impress my friends, or how do I get strong and big and work out? And like, I think about all the same things everyone else thinks about. How do I become cool? How do I talk better? How do I dress better? Blah, blah, blah. But the majority of my thinking is literally, how do I become successful? Like, every day, at least once a day, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And I'll criticize myself, or vice versa, or whatever. And I don't know, I realized, at first I used to think that was normal. I used to think that most people think that way, but I'm starting to realize as I get older that people don't think like that. A lot of y'all, for whatever reason, are just thinking about what's happening in your daily life and thinking about your circumstances, but you don't have like a bigger ambition or bigger goal. And Russell Brunson, in the book, he estimates that he talks about desire versus ambition. That'll be the title of this episode, probably. Desire versus ambition. Everybody has a desire. Everyone has desires. But less than 2%, in his estimation, actually have ambition to claim those desires, genuinely. And that shit fucked me up, because I thought it was a lot more. I thought it was that everyone pretty much has the ambition to do it. It's just that a lot of people suck and they just don't end up doing it, and they fail. But a lot of y'all don't even think about this shit. And that fucks me up. Because, like, this is all I think about. Even if I'm not actually actively doing it, you know, the past 6 years, there's been a lot of time where I was just fucking off and doing nothing. But I was still thinking about it in the back of my head. That's the only reason why I kept coming back to it. You know, I might smoke weed for 2 weeks and fuck off and go to Reynolds Park and fucking chill and hang out with the butterflies and just take a chill day and relax. I'm hanging out. I feel so good. I'm a hippie. But then I'll go home and look at my shitty life and be like, damn, I gotta become successful. You know what I mean? Like, it was every day. Life just humbled me in that way. And I guess, I don't know, maybe the circumstances of my life just were set up in a way that every day I just naturally thought about it because I wanted to change my life. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could go about it, but it's just some food for thought. So I'm just really happy because I can confidently say that I am becoming the person that I want to become. And it's just really, really weird, like, seeing yourself transform in real time, because a lot of people don't change, right? That's the kind of the thing everyone talks about. It's like, people don't change. And I guess it's true to an extent. Like, I don't think I've ever changed. I don't think I'm changing into someone new. I'm just becoming the person I've always wanted to become. I talk about that in the first episode. So it's just dope because it's actually happening. You know what I mean? So yeah, basically right now, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to go home. I have to meal prep for the next 4 days of food. Well, I have to meal prep for tonight as well to make dinner, and then the next 4 days of food. And then tomorrow I have a day off. I'm probably going to go hang out with one of my homies, even though I really shouldn't because she's a distraction. But it's all good. She's leaving soon, so that'll be one less distraction. See, I'm not perfect. I still have distractions, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And yeah, I just want to document this moment. Okay, it's exactly 10 minutes. I told myself this episode was going to be no more than 10 minutes. So episode 3, peace.